What if I told you that one of the NBA's most underrated skills has nothing to do with shooting, defending, or rebounding? Picture this. You're 34 years old, you've been bounced around the league like a pinball, and every summer becomes a guessing game about where you'll wake up next season. Welcome to the reality of Nikola Vucevic, the Chicago Bulls center who has transformed dealing with trade rumors into an Olympic sport. This summer alone, Vucevic was supposedly heading to the Lakers, getting shipped to the Warriors, or being bought out by Chicago to chase a championship ring somewhere else. The rumor mill worked overtime, painting scenarios of his departure, yet here stands the Montenegrin veteran, calm as a seasoned captain navigating stormy seas, essentially telling the basketball world, "Been there, heard that, still here." But this isn't just another story about trade rumors and contract speculation. This is a masterclass in professional survival, a lesson in how experience breeds wisdom, and a fascinating glimpse into the psychological warfare that veteran players must endure every single offseason. 14 years in the NBA doesn't just teach you how to set better screens or read defenses more effectively. It teaches you something far more valuable: how to tune out the noise that can drive lesser mortals absolutely insane. Vucevic has reached that rare plateau of professional maturity where speculation becomes background music rather than heart-stopping anxiety. There are always rumors. Most of them are false. It's a bit of nonsense, Vucevic explained during a recent interview while training with Montenegro for Eurobasket. The casual dismissal in his tone speaks volumes about a player who has learned to separate the wheat from the chaff in an industry built on speculation and sensationalism. Consider the mental fortitude required to maintain peak performance while constantly hearing your name attached to different franchises. Lesser players might spend sleepless nights wondering about their future, checking Twitter obsessively, or letting uncertainty affect their preparation. Vucevic has evolved beyond such distractions, treating rumors like background noise at a crowded restaurant. Present, but irrelevant. His experience getting traded multiple times throughout his career has provided him with a unique perspective that younger players simply cannot possess. He knows what real trade discussions feel like. He understands the difference between legitimate organizational interest and media speculation, and most importantly, he recognizes that worrying about uncontrollable factors is a waste of mental energy. This summer's rumor carousel perfectly illustrated how modern NBA media operates in the digital age. Vucevic's name got attached to the Lakers faster than you could say championship contender. The Warriors reportedly showed interest because they needed frontcourt depth. Pretty soon, every team with a center-shaped hole in their roster was supposedly pursuing the Bulls' veteran. The reality, according to Vucevic himself, was far less dramatic. Bulls GM Mark Eversley reached out directly to confirm that none of the swirling speculation held any truth, reaffirming conversations they had immediately after the previous season ended. This direct communication represents exactly the kind of professional relationship that veteran players value most: honesty and transparency rather than rumor mill management. The Bulls GM had contacted me after all the rumors about me, confirmed that nothing was true, and that everything we had said to each other after the season was still relevant, Vucevic revealed. This behind-the-scenes glimpse shows how organizations can maintain trust with veteran players even when external speculation reaches fever pitch. The buyout rumors proved particularly interesting because they demonstrated how stories can get distorted as they travel across different media markets. European journalists interpreted speculation about potential deadline moves as imminent contract termination, creating a game of telephone that transformed possibility into perceived certainty. While pundits debated his future destination, Vucevic quietly continued producing at an all-star level that many teams would kill to have at the center position. Last season's averages of 18.5 points and 10.1 rebounds per game tell only part of the story. His 40.2% shooting from three-point range on 4.4 attempts per game represents exactly the kind of floor-spacing big man that modern offenses crave. These aren't empty statistics accumulated on a terrible team either. Vucevic has become a cornerstone of Chicago's offensive system, providing the kind of reliable production that allows other players to flourish in their respective roles. His ability to stretch the floor while maintaining traditional center responsibilities makes him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. The disconnect between his production and his trade rumors reveals something fascinating about NBA perception versus reality. Teams desperately seek centers who can shoot from distance, create offense in the post, and contribute meaningful rebounding. Yet, somehow Vucevic finds himself constantly mentioned in trade speculation despite checking every box on that wish list. His defensive limitations certainly factor into organizational calculations, as many teams prioritize rim protection over offensive versatility at the center position. However, his offensive contributions significantly outweigh any defensive shortcomings, particularly for teams that already possess strong perimeter defenders. Vucevic's understanding of NBA business mechanics reflects the wisdom that only comes from extensive experience navigating league politics and organizational decision-making. In the last year of a contract, there is always speculation, he acknowledged, demonstrating awareness that his situation naturally invites speculation regardless of his performance or organizational satisfaction. This perspective highlights one of the most challenging aspects of professional sports careers: the constant uncertainty that accompanies contract situations. Players entering final contract years face scrutiny that extends far beyond their on-court contributions as organizations weigh financial flexibility against competitive continuity. The $21.5 million final year of Vucevic's contract creates interesting dynamics for Chicago's front office. That salary represents significant money that could be redirected toward other roster needs, yet it also pays for proven production from a player who has consistently delivered throughout his Bulls tenure. "Since I can't control anything, I try not to worry about it," Vucevic explained, showcasing the mental approach that has allowed him to maintain elite performance despite constant speculation. This mindset represents perhaps his most valuable skill, the ability to focus on controllable factors while ignoring external noise. The Bulls' center depth chart tells a straightforward story about Vucevic's organizational importance. With only Zach Collins as the other true center on the 15-man roster, Chicago's frontcourt rotation depends heavily on Vucevic's availability and production. This roster construction makes his presence essential, regardless of any external speculation about his future. "I'm almost certain I will be with the Bulls when the season opens," Vucevic stated with confidence that reflects both organizational assurances and practical roster analysis. His role as the clear starter at center, combined with limited organizational depth at the position, makes his season-opening presence virtually guaranteed. However, the question of his status when the season ends remains more complex. The NBA trade deadline often becomes a evaluation point for veteran players on expiring contracts, particularly those on teams unlikely to compete for championships. Chicago's competitive trajectory will likely influence any potential moves involving Vucevic as the season progresses. The Bulls' front office faces fascinating decisions about their long-term vision at the center position. Building around Vucevic's current production makes sense from a competitive standpoint, yet his age and contract situation complicate any extended planning beyond this season. What makes Vucevic's approach particularly admirable is his complete ownership of factors within his control while accepting the uncertainty of elements beyond his influence. This psychological framework allows him to prepare professionally for the upcoming season without wasting mental energy on speculation and rumors. His international commitments with Montenegro demonstrate another aspect of his professional maturity. Using off-season time productively rather than dwelling on contract situations or trade possibilities. Playing for his national team provides both competitive preparation and personal fulfillment that transcends NBA business considerations. The veteran's approach offers valuable lessons for younger players navigating their own career uncertainty. Rather than fighting against the business realities of professional sports, Vucevic has learned to work within them while maintaining focus on performance and preparation. Nikola Vucevic's handling of this summer's rumor circus provides a masterclass in professional sports survival that extends far beyond basketball courts. His combination of statistical production, mental toughness, and business savvy represents exactly the kind of veteran presence that smart organizations value most. Whether he finishes this season in Chicago or finds himself elsewhere by next summer matters less than the example he sets for handling uncertainty with grace and professionalism. In an era where social media amplifies every whisper into breaking news, Vucevic's approach feels both refreshing and instructive. The real victory isn't avoiding trade rumors, it's proving that experience, perspective, and unwavering professionalism can overcome any amount of external noise. That's a lesson worth learning, regardless of which jersey you're wearing. Have you ever dealt with job uncertainty while trying to maintain peak performance? How do you think veteran athletes should handle constant trade speculation? Share your thoughts below, and hit that like button if you respect the mental toughness it takes to thrive in professional sports.